Imagine that the entire history of Christianity might be built on a lie. Imagine that the Holy Grail is not a cup, not an artifact, not a treasure, but a living person. And what if the Vatican has known this for 2,000 years? Today, you're about to discover the story of the most dangerous code in human history. A story people are killed for. A story that can turn everything you believe upside down. Night, the Louvre, the most famous museum in the world. When the doors close and the tourists leave, only silence, shadows, and secrets remain in its halls. And it is here that the body of the museum's curator, Jacques Saunière, is found. He is still alive, but he knows he is dying. And instead of calling for help, he does something strange. He undresses. He lies down on the floor in the position of Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, the famous drawing of a man inscribed in a circle and a square. And with his own blood, he writes a coded message on the floor. Numbers, letters, symbols. This is not a cry for help. It is an invitation to a game where the prize is the truth about the Holy Grail. The police are in shock. They have no idea what these symbols mean. So they call the one man who can read symbols as easily as we read ordinary words. His name is Robert Langdon, a Harvard professor of religious symbology. He was supposed to give a simple consultation, but within minutes he is told that he is now the main suspect in the murder. Why? Because the victim supposedly left him a message, and right now the police are ready to arrest him. And that's when she enters the story. Sophie Neveu, a cryptographer, a specialist in codes, and the granddaughter of the murdered curator. She immediately understands that her grandfather didn't leave the code for the police. He left it for her, and for Langdon. She secretly warns him, if he doesn't escape right now, he will be arrested. And they run, straight out of the Louvre, out of the most heavily guarded museum in the world. From that moment on, they are not just fugitives. They are players in a hunt for the greatest secret in human history. They begin decoding the message and realize that every detail, every number, every word is part of an ancient puzzle. Saunière was not just a museum curator. He was a member of a secret society, a society that had protected the secret of the Holy Grail for centuries. Its name is the Priory of Sion, and its members were not mystics or fanatics. Among them were Leonardo da Vinci, Isaac Newton, Victor Hugo, the greatest minds in history, people who knew the truth and hid it in art, symbols, and codes. But they are not hunted by the police alone. There is another player in this game, a fanatical monk named Silas. He is willing to kill in the name of God. He obeys a mysterious man who claims to serve the church. Their goal is to destroy the Priory of Sion and erase the secret of the Grail forever. And the further Langdon and Sophie go, the clearer it becomes. This is not just an investigation. This is a war for the right to control the story of humanity. And that is when they arrive at the name of Leonardo da Vinci, his paintings, his symbols, his codes. Langdon realizes that Leonardo was not just an artist, he was a guardian of the secret. In the Last Supper, there is something almost no one notices. The figure sitting to the right of Jesus looks too feminine. Soft facial features, long hair, no beard. And between them, there is not a cup, but an empty space shaped like the letter V. The symbol of the feminine, the symbol of Venus. And then Langdon says the words that make your heart stop. That figure is not the Apostle John. Mary Magdalene was not a prostitute as the church taught. She was the wife of Jesus, his closest companion, his partner, his equal. And the Holy Grail is not the cup that collected Christ's blood. The Grail is her, the woman who carried his blood, the woman who continued his lineage. Sophie doesn't believe it. It sounds insane. But the further they go, the more evidence appears. Ancient texts, symbols, paintings. Everything points to one conclusion. Jesus was married, he had a child, and that bloodline still exists today. And then comes the moment that changes everything. Langdon looks at Sophie and understands the truth. Her grandfather wasn't just protecting a secret, he was protecting her. Because she is part of that bloodline, she is a descendant of Jesus Christ. At that moment, the story stops being a detective thriller. it becomes personal. This is no longer about the Grail. It is about blood, about legacy, about the fact that Sophie is a living legend. They find the place where the Grail is supposed to be hidden. Not in a treasure chamber, not in a cathedral, but underground, in an ancient crypt where Mary Magdalene is believed to rest. There is no gold there, no artifacts, only the truth. And it is more terrifying than any treasure. Because if the world learns it, the very foundation of religion will collapse. And this is where the central question of the book appears. Does the world need to know the truth if it will destroy the faith of millions? Langdon realizes that not every truth must be revealed. Sometimes secrecy is a form of protection of humanity from itself. Sophie kneels before the tomb of her ancestor, and she understands that the Grail is not an object. It is a line, a bloodline, a woman, a symbol of how the divine and the human can be one. They leave without revealing the secret to the world, because some knowledge is too powerful to be public. Some codes are meant to remain unbroken. And now ask yourself this: what if it's true? What if the church really is hiding the true story of Jesus? What if our entire civilization is built on an edited version of history? Then what does faith mean? What does truth mean? And what does it truly mean to be human?